Welcome back. This is John Locke, and today I'm answering a question from the big SEO forum. Do link building services work? And the question goes, due to time constraints at a new position, I'm turning to link building services such as Outreach, Pete, the Hoth, etc., to see if I can steadily increase my Google My Business and local SERPs, search engine results pages. The costs seem to be well worth it, but I'm a little fuzzy on how effective or black hat their tactics are. This is all new to me. Does anyone have experiences with services like this? Worth it or not worth it? Are there better alternatives? Now, I got to be really honest. I'm familiar with the Hoth because they're a big link seller. I don't know what Outreach Pete is, so let me check that out really quick. It says white label link building agency. They're outreach professionals. Okay, so they look for white label links and PR coverage on the web's best hosts. It looks like they do BuzzFeed, the Times, Yahoo Finance, AOL, International Business Times. This might be similar to how people build links on Forbes or Entrepreneur. I know that I get a lot of spam. Well, I don't want to call them spam. We'll call them business development emails from people that say, "Hi, I am a blogger, and I will, here's some of the samples of the sites that I build links on." BuzzFeed does seem to come up a lot. There's some other ones that come up, but I'm not familiar with this one. But this seems, I mean, I can't really speak to this, but it seems like that might be what this is, if they're stressing that it's outreach. So the best way to explain outreach is they're the type of emails where people say, here's you have a link in this article, and that page that you're linking to is no longer there, or maybe we have a better page, and take a look at it, maybe link to it. Or we have an infographic, we'd like you to link to, or something like that, or a page that we'd like you to link to because we saw that you wrote about this. Now that can work. Broken link building in outreach, that can work. A lot of it is about persistence. A lot of it is about approach. There are definitely people that specialize in this. This is more a specialized thing, outreach. But really, it comes down to like how effective you are at communication, and how much time you have to outreach to different people. Now, this part where it says white label links and PR coverage, that seems to be more about having well-placed people that are contributors to some of these different places, and saying, since you are contributing like here and here and here, maybe you could, build a link for us for our client. That is what this sounds like. So that sounds fine. So the Hoth, if no one's familiar with that, let's take a look at that. This is a link building service, and other people. There's other services out there that are like this. There's a lot of link building services out there. Scalable, reseller friendly SEO services. So they also seem to have some of these same ones. Maybe these are all places where they've been mentioned. But basically, so let's take a look at the link building. Let's take a look at this one. Permanent homepage links. So that's interesting. Need links to boost your second tier properties. And that is a code word for Web 2.0s. And if you're not familiar with that, that is kind of a dark gray hat technique, where you would have different articles on different accounts, like on Blogspot or WordPress.com or Weebly or Wix, or sites that are very easy to publish articles to at a low cost. And those second tiers, or Web 2.0s, would point at your main site. They would point at the main article, but you would use these somewhat, these links that you would buy from these link resellers and point them at these, and then that would link to your main site. So somewhat laundering the link equity so that it doesn't appear as suspicious. That's basically how that works. So, and there's different things here. Let's take a look too. I have never used this. This seems like something that you might want to experiment with before you start pointing links at a main site. That's my opinion on something like that. Let's take a look at some of the other things that they might offer. I'm not saying that this is wrong for anyone out there. I'm just saying that you might want to experiment with this before you start implementing it in an everyday process, so you kind of get a feel for how this would work or if this is effective. Let's look at link building foundation. Awesome in-context links. Okay, in-content links. So again, it sounds like articles that are being published and they have a link. Quality contextual link building. So the anchor text, the text that's within the link, the hyperlink itself, the words that are in the hyperlink are the keywords. A lot of people feel that will boost your ranking in the search engines. Other people feel that in 2019 and 2020, it's probably better to have the majority of your links be your brand name, your company name, your website, what they call a naked URL, just the link to the actual page. And then a very small percentage of these would be the actual keyword. The small percentage of these would be the actual keyword. Okay, and this is kind of describing the same sort of thing. So they are insinuating that they have guest posting or guest contributing on some of these sites here. They're kind of suggesting that. So it says natural link building strategy. We create many authority properties, so a profile, on popular blogging platforms, Web 2.0s, like Medium, Blogspot, WordPress.com, and these link back to your site. You have complete control over your anchor text, what I just said, and you'll even get the logins to these properties. This allows you to have complete control over your links. Yeah, Squidoo was one that used to be back in the day, WordPress.com, Blogspot. This one got Squidoo, from what I understand. Now, this is something that I had a profile like a long time ago, like maybe like 6-7 years ago, on this, but this is not something that I use anymore. I got to be honest, I don't have WordPress.com, Blogspot.com. This is not something that I do. Maybe I'm missing out. I don't know. It just seems to me, again, this is not something that I feel super comfortable doing too much of as a foundation of a link building strategy. But, I see people that use this and it seems to have a positive effect. So some people I know would say that this is black hat. Some people would say that this is gray hat. Seems to work in some instances. But again, I think it's about how much risk you are willing to, how much risk you're willing to take on in a link building strategy. I'm not sure that I would do this for an enterprise level client. In fact, I'm pretty sure that I would not suggest this for, large companies. I think it would be a little strange. This might be very effective for small businesses. So that is kind of the nuts and bolts of how this works. Submit your URLs and anchor text, then they write a article, and then they give you the login, and that's basically it. That's how these types of sites works. I think I would be more inclined to trust something like this. Now, I have no knowledge of how this works or how this works. Now, in the past, I have done experiments with things like this that are similar to what the Hoth is selling here. Seems to have a negligible effect. When I did experiments with this before, didn't seem to have a large effect, maybe like a very, very small effect. So, take it with a grain of salt. So, uh, this question, do link building services work? I think you're going to get the best types of links by having content that people want to link to. And that's something that people talk about all the time. A good company that you could follow for information on this, it would be Siege Media. They preach this. They create content that ranks and helps you rank. And what they do, this is more along the lines of the philosophy that I subscribe to. Creating content for your site that people would want to rank, or they would want to link to, content that's good enough to rank on its own, that has a focus on design and content and having a unique value. So this would be kind of something more that the philosophy that I would subscribe to. This is when you're just building links to your money pages, but you're using a buffer zone, your Web 2.0s. They're mini authority properties on powerful blogging platforms. So Web 2.0s, and they kind of just lay it out right there. This is an old technique. Okay, so does it work? Yeah. I have a little bit of experience with services like this. I don't think that it's the most effective. I think it can make a difference if if everybody else in your particular industry is using this. I don't think it'll hurt you particularly much, but I don't think I would trust this for a large company. If there's a lot of money on the line, then I'm not sure that I would trust this. This might be something to experiment with on a smaller site before you make it part of your whole process. So let's see what some of the people said in the comments. They said, you get what you pay for. If you want as white hat as you can, you'll be paying for a service to do it. They recommend Hive Digital or Citation Labs. Not familiar with them. Enterprise link building company. So content development, again, enterprise level outreach. So they're combining content development on your site and then outreach. So that seems more in line with a sustainable philosophy. And then Hive Digital, I've heard of them. Let me see what that is. Overall, marketing for a better world. Let's check this out. Okay. They provide innovation and digital marketing expertise for companies dedicated to creating a better world. So I don't know what that means. Influencing communities. So again, maybe it's just getting influencers to spread your stuff or link to your stuff. That might be a thing. Okay. Okay, so this person says their experience with the Hoth is from several years ago. The small agency I worked for at the time bought a few runs on their basis package, and they got really poorly written and spun posts off of Blogger and WordPress sites with a ton of SEM nuke like spam links. SEM nuke, for those who are not familiar, I guess they're not around anymore. Similar to GSA. If you saw our episode on Black Hat links, it's I'll put a card right here and you can check that out. But something similar to that. So this person says they can't recommend the Hoth at this point. They purchased some guest posts and they received basically PBN type links, private blog network types of links. Links from websites that they seemed to own, where every article on the website had pretty obvious paid links. And this is what I would say about any type of link selling at scale, if they're saying scalable or things like that, websites where they seem to own every article on the website, that's a PBN. If you've got, hundreds of sites, that's a PBN. If you're selling links at scale, file that one under no shit. They own it. It's and basically they're publishing articles in order to get links. I'm not so sure. I mean, I'm not saying that these don't work, but I'm not so convinced that Google values this type of link all that much. I'm not saying that if you had enough of them, it wouldn't work. And if you had different types of links mixed in, that it wouldn't be effective. But if this is the only type of link that you have, that's probably not good. And this person seems to say the same thing. They're saying they're not saying that it doesn't move the needle, but you can get better return on investment by creating linkable content and doing outreach. And I would tend to agree with that. It is a safer and better long-term plan. So yeah, everybody else kind of is on the same page with this. This person says links won't have the impact it used to have on local. I think a lot of it is more intent, as you saw in one of the last videos that we did from the other day. A lot of the stuff that's in local is the marketplace types of sites. So Yelp, if you're in home services, it'd be Home Advisor and Angie's List and YP.com. Those sorts of things seem to take up a lot of spots on the first page in local search. Content creation plus effective outreach. Outreach is definitely a skill unto itself. People who do it well, they kind of specialize in that. So if you have a go-to person that can do that, and they're not sending out like really crappy emails, and they tend to get some good links, that might be something to look into. Those type of people are probably some of the most rare in SEO, the actual outreach. And content creation as well. It's not easy, but that's why when you have good content on your site and you have the types of links that you get from effective outreach, that seems to be worth a lot more than mass-produced articles that are only there to provide a link to a local business somewhere, and there's no real focus on the site, and the site is obviously part of a larger private blog network. That's my 2 cents. My name's John Locke. My business is Lockdown Design and SEO. I'm here every single day making videos on SEO, and I would be so pleased if you would subscribe because we're here every day. That's it for now. Until next time, peace.